This lecture, The Coming Crisis, focuses on the events of the 1850s as the Civil War draws near. In this lecture, we will focus on sectionalism, the North and South, slavery and the economy, opposition to slavery, events of the 1850s, and the final road to war. The 1850s. The 1850s were a time of tension between the North and the South. The institution of slavery proved to be the most divisive issue, but the North and South also differed in their overall way of life. Compromises would be made, but ultimately war could not be avoided. Sectionalism. Sectionalism means placing the needs of one section of the country over the needs of another. Essentially, each part of the country, primarily the North and South, were only concerned with their own interests. This led to a very divided country. The North and the South differed greatly in economics, demographics, and infrastructure. Read over the details for both the North and the South. Which side had the advantage heading into the war? For a more in-depth breakdown of slave states and free states, log on to themapofhistory.com and follow the instructions listed. Slavery and the economy. The original colonies required many workers for their tobacco crops. Unable to find enough workers, many resorted to slavery. As the need for tobacco declined, the need for slavery also declined until the growth of the cotton industry. In 1793, Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin, which indirectly increased the need for slaves. The seeds could be removed more easily from the cotton with this device. As a result, more cotton could be grown and harvested, hence the need for more slaves. Opposition to slavery. The economy in the South became completely based upon slavery, so much so that if slavery was removed, the Southern economy would collapse. In the North, opposition to slavery grew, and abolition societies were established. An abolitionist is someone who actively opposed and sought to eliminate the institution of slavery. The Underground Railroad. Abolitionists helped to establish the Underground Railroad. This was a route to safety from the South to the North for slaves. Speeches, literature, and a book entitled Uncle Tom's Cabin helped to raise awareness about slavery. Free states versus slave states. In between the Revolutionary and Civil Wars, new states were added. Whenever a new state was admitted, there would be heated debate in Congress about whether this new state would support slavery or freedom. Compromises were made in an attempt to keep the country together. Take a moment to look over the divisions detailed on the map. We will look at some key events of the 1850s. The Compromise of 1850, Bleeding Kansas, the Dred Scott Decision, Harper's Ferry Raid, and the election of Lincoln. The Compromise of 1850. This was a compromise between free states and slave states regarding the new territories gained from the Mexican-American War. The decision: California was added as a free state. As a concession, the Fugitive Slave Act was now law. If a slave escaped to the north, the northern states would be required to return the slave to the south. This created great fear among free blacks in the north. Many fled further north to Canada as a result. Harriet Tubman would play an integral role in leading many to freedom. Bleeding Kansas. The Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854 allowed these territories to decide whether they would be free or slave states. This voided the Missouri Compromise of 1820, which had actually created quite a bit of stability in the country. A civil war erupted in Kansas between pro- and anti-slavery forces. The outcome? A series of elections took place in Kansas, each of which were not recognized by Congress. The tensions between North and South would continue to rise. The Dred Scott Decision. In 1857, Dred Scott, a slave, moved with his owner to several free states. He believed he was free because he was in a free state. With the help of abolitionists, the case went all the way to the Supreme Court. Justice Roger Taney decided that a slave was property and not a citizen. Congress could not control the movement of property, and as a result, Dred Scott was not free. The raid on Harper's Ferry. John Brown, a radical abolitionist, felt he could ignite an uprising of slaves in the South by attacking an armory in West Virginia known as Harper's Ferry. The raid was a failure. Brown was captured and executed. He would become a villain in the South and a hero in the North. The election of Abraham Lincoln. With the Democratic Party in disarray, the Republican Party nominated Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln won all of the free states and none of the slave states. Following his election, Southern states felt that there was no more room for compromise and prepared for secession. Secession means to leave the Union. The road to war. With the election of Lincoln, 7 states seceded from the Union. This means that they left the United States. These states were South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas. These states would form the Confederate States of America and be led by President Jefferson Davis. Fort Sumter. Soon after, Lincoln ordered that Fort Sumter, a federal fort off the coast of South Carolina, be restocked. Confederate President Davis ordered the fort to be taken. The Confederates took the fort without any deaths on either side. This is considered the first battle of the Civil War. More secession. 4 more states decided to leave the Union. They were Virginia, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Preparations for war. The North held the advantage in a variety of different areas, including population, railroad mileage, farms, wealth produced, and factories. Despite these very clear advantages, the South would experience many successes in the early phase of the war. The end of the beginning. The interwar period saw many attempts to avert war. Ultimately, the divisions were too deep, and the bloodiest war in American history would result. A war in which over 600,000 Americans would be killed.